In the early 1980s, I was studying behaviour in organisations, and I began to realise that it's the system that governs people's behaviour. For example, we design our organisations in functions. Each function has its own targets and budget. But as you know, work goes across functions, so we shouldn't be surprised that we see tensions between meeting functional goals and serving customers. The system governs the way we behave together and the way we behave to our customers. At about the same time, I had a series of assignments evaluating large-scale change programs. It occurred to me that you can't really evaluate any change program without first understanding how organisations work. So I would ask managers to explain to me how things worked. Their replies were instructive. Managers most often would talk about what they did, not the same as how things work. For me, the light came on when I discovered Deming's work. His book, Out of the Crisis, was a scathing criticism of management thinking. Deming made the obvious point that we, mankind, invented management, and so we can change it. But changing management means giving up much of what we think of as normal. It requires unlearning as well as learning. Now, managers won't give up things like management by the numbers unless they can see for themselves that such things actually make performance worse, something they find hard to believe. If you try to explain what's wrong with conventional management, you tend to create resistance. If, for example, you explain how targets damage performance, managers rationalise the failures and will argue that targets are okay if you set them in the right way or choose the right target. It's because they can't get out of the mindset that targets are an essential part of managerial life. As well as describing the shortcomings of conventional management thinking, Deming exhorted us to understand and manage organisations as systems. Most of his work illustrated how that can be done in manufacturing organisations. There was very little advice for people who wanted to take a systems approach in service organisations. And so was born the Vanguard method. It's a method that helps managers of service organisations unlearn current conventions and learn how to manage the organisation as a system. The Vanguard method includes practical means for studying service organisations as systems. And it's through studying that managers realise these counterintuitive truths, like targets actually make performance worse. You can't deny it or rationalise it when you see it for yourself. But the method also reveals what things could look like if we were to adopt a different management philosophy. Studying shows what's possible, and because of that, it energises managers to make what at first seems to be a radical change. But when they get it, what they regarded as radical, they then describe as quite sensible.